Deswegen stellen Sie sich den Trommelwirbel vor. Jetzt kommt die Frage aller Fragen. Wer von Ihnen hält Stück A für das Stück, welches Mathias Rehfeldt geschrieben hat?
Do you remember when AI music first came out and the internet was completely flooded with this stuff? Well, today we don't talk about it as much anymore, but I don't think it's because the stuff disappeared, but because we got scarily fast used to the fact that this is possible. Back then I was shocked, because it felt like a machine could do within a few seconds what I trained for like 20 years. This honestly scared the shit out of me. So at the beginning of this year, I met a friend who has created an award for classical music. What they do is they have a concert every year in the famous Elbphilharmonie with all the previous winners of the award, which means there's a bunch of great musicians in a great place. And I talked to her about this problem with artificial intelligence, and I think it really threatens our existence as classical musicians and composers. And when I talked to her, I got more and more into the idea that it would actually be nice to face my fears and not give up to something which I honestly didn't fully understand at that time. So I suggested a standoff. And my idea was that I would write a piece and the artificial intelligence would write one, but the audience doesn't know which one is the real one. And my friend was totally happy about the idea, so we just decided, let's do it. This might be a great moment to talk shortly about how AI actually composes music or how it creates music. And it does this a little bit differently than a human would do it. While a human would write a melody and then build it up in a conceptual way, the AI does it entirely based on statistics. This means it analyzes millions of music tracks which already exist, and then it creates music by simply predicting each moment what would statistically come next as a sound. And this is amazing for generic pop music, which is naturally based on this kind of expectation. But in classical music, it is different. It tells an entire story, and if you only go bit by bit by bit by bit, you lose the big picture. Or at least that's what I imagine. This means that AI is actually pretty great in musically describing something which has been done a couple of times before. So I thought to keep the chances even, we take a topic which has been actually done a lot of times before, and this would be the Four Seasons. So the AI has plenty of music to get inspired by. Also, it portrays a very clear image, like everyone knows how autumn looks like, everyone knows how a summer feels. This works in the advantage of the AI, but also, I guess, for the audience, because everyone can immediately imagine something connected with the seasons. So just a quick word about AI. Is it actually ethically okay to use an AI which composes your music? Because it steals from everything which has been there before. So I don't have an answer for this. I would be really curious to hear your opinion about it, because it's a question which actually bugs me quite a lot. Is it ethical or is it okay to use AI music? So the first problem which I faced was that actually AI cannot write a score. It can produce music, but it cannot write a score to it. And that's why I asked my friend Tim to transcribe the AI piece. The first problem we faced was that AI is not able to really adapt the mood. So if you want to go from spring to summer, you have to change the mood in the music. AI cannot do this. It just stays in the same mood, which means we generated 4 different tracks and put them together. But this brought a new problem, because AI can stay somewhat consistent inside its own system, but if you create multiple tracks, it will not do this. It just completely forgets the melody it used before. And even if you try to tell it what it did and reference the track, it will not write the same melody. So the biggest problem was obviously consistency. But does the audience care for that? But first, let's take a look what Tim did with the piece.
Hallo, mein Name ist Tim und ich bin für das Arrangement des KI-Stücks verantwortlich. Mein Job ist es jetzt, dieses Musikstück auf die Instrumente zu übertragen, die wir dann im Konzert zur Verfügung haben. Meine erste Aufgabe ist es jetzt also, rauszuhören, welche Noten überhaupt vorkommen in dem Musikstück. Die spezifischen Noten aus dem Musikstück der KI rauszuhören, ist nicht immer einfach, weil oft Akkorde und Harmonien irgendwie erkennbar sind, aber die spezifischen Noten eher so ein wildes Musikgemisch sind. Und deswegen muss ich an manchen Stellen auch einfach Entscheidungen treffen, welche Note denn jetzt eigentlich gespielt wird.
So basically I used my whole summer to write this piece. I really tried hard to anticipate everything which the AI cannot do. So bring in polyphony, bring in extended techniques, which I think the AI also has problems with, and do a lot of things which are because, as I said, the AI will predict what is most expected in the piece. And I can do exactly the opposite.
Ich bin jetzt an einer Stelle, wo die KI ein riesiges Symphonieorchester à la Hans Zimmer oder so vorgesehen hat. Wir arbeiten natürlich im Konzert dann mit einer Kammerbesetzung. Deswegen muss ich mir jetzt ganz genau überlegen, wie ich diese Musik übertragen kann in unsere Besetzung.
And after a summer of writing music and transcribing AI stuff, we went to Hamburg. With me was Tim and also my dear friend Mathias, who played the violin in this project. So the place we stayed in was absolutely out of this world. It's a castle about 1 hour away from Hamburg, and it's 150 years old. But inside it didn't seem that old. It was a very beautiful mixture of a modern and a classical style. There was one specific thing which I definitely need to show you, and which you will get immediately if you ever played piano. So there's also a piano here, which is supposedly a really nice one. Look, see, it's Steinway and Sons. To be honest, this doesn't seem like by them. This is plastic. The secret becomes more clear when we open the piano up. So the story behind this is that the castle once belonged to a guy who was not home very often. But his girlfriend was, and she apparently liked money a lot. So every time he was not home, she sold some of his very expensive belongings, like his Steinway grand piano, and then replaced it with cheap shit. Apparently he never realized it until they sold the castle. So after pretty much everyone arrived, we decided that we should start practicing. But the problem was that we only had this one evening of practicing, which meant we had to get through pretty fast. And what made it worse was that I didn't know that we had this little time. So I wrote the piece, let's say, a little bit harder than I should have, which kind of made it an intensive rehearsal.
Ich habe
So when we started practicing, I realized that there was still one player missing, and no one knew where he was. Suddenly we get the info that his train is so much delayed that he's still in Berlin, about 3 hours away. Inside, I completely freaked out, because we have not practiced the piece one time with the entire ensemble. And the next day would be the concert. So it's needless to say that my heart was really racing fast. So we did the best we could and just worked through the piece with imagining one more voice to it. But of course it's not the same, and you cannot really work musically if something is still missing. At one point we just called it a night and went to dinner. And that's when the door opened and our missing player was standing there. Since it was really late and everyone was tired and exhausted, we made an appointment right at the next morning. Which was both the day of the concert and the first time I would ever hear my piece with the full ensemble. I guess it's needless to say that I didn't sleep a lot that night. So the next day we had our dress rehearsal at 9 in the morning, and I was actually a little bit relieved hearing that it worked. So my piece worked, the AI piece worked, everything seemed to work out. I was so glad, I cannot tell you how. And right after this, we made our way straight to Elbphilharmonie.
Aber vielleicht beide.
Nein, Leute, das wird super.
Hi. Ja?
So this building is very famous in Germany, but not just because it's such a great concert hall, but also it cost a fortune to build and took an enormous amount of time. People thought it would never be finished, but luckily, of course, they did a couple of years ago. But when we entered, I could honestly tell why it took so long to make, because everything is simply marvelous. It's beautiful. Just look at our changing room.
So we are here at the Elbphilharmonie. There's also a really beautiful bathroom. Oh, sorry.
So I set up my cameras, got to know the technicians, we rehearsed the piece one more time, and then the concert was about to start. Before we played both pieces, I got to talk a little bit with the audience in like a small interview.
Wenn man ein Stück komponiert, hat man, ich kann jetzt natürlich nicht für jeden sprechen, aber mir geht es so, ich habe ein Bild im Kopf, das möchte ich beschreiben. Und das versuche ich, dieses Bild in Töne zu übersetzen und damit diese Emotionen, die ich dazu empfinde, auf andere Leute zu übertragen und die teilhaben zu lassen an diesem Ganzen. Die KI simuliert Emotionen.
And then we played both pieces. was surprisingly calm during conducting the both pieces. But as soon as the voting process began, my heart started racing. Basically, I told myself that in a few moments I would know if I should actually look for a different job or if I can continue for a few more years writing music. So the first question we asked was,
Wer war stärker berührt emotional vom Stück? Kannst du gut zählen? Wer war stärker emotional berührt von Stück? Relativ eindeutiges Ergebnis.
luckily, most people were on my side. And after this, we faced the most serious question of the evening. Which piece do you think was written by an AI and which was written by a human?
Wer von Ihnen hält Stück A für das Stück, welches Matthias Rehfeldt geschrieben hat? Und wer ist der Meinung, dass Matthias Rehfeldt Stück B komponiert hat? Wollen wir es auflösen?
Ich denke.
Ich glaube, wir lösen es auf. B.
And when I saw this, I honestly felt so happy. I thought I could jump right off the stage. So this kind of went in my favor. But there was about a third of the audience who got it wrong. What does this mean for the future? I mean, AI constantly improves. Will it learn to overcome these things, which still obviously tell us that it's artificial and not human-made? And maybe it's even a lost battle to fight against this or compete with it, because eventually it might just overtake us in its abilities. But what it probably cannot do is do something which people don't want it to do. So I think live music might actually be something which gets more and more important in the next years, because frankly, no one wants to see a computer perform. But for every kind of radio music or production music or whatever background music you hear, I think there's an extreme danger that it will just be completely replaced by AI. Still, I'm continuing with my stuff and hope to see you in my next vlog. Bye!